It's that time, once again, another major Magic the Gathering tournament, another round of viewers, Reddit, and Twitter screaming that somebody cheated. So in today's video, I'll answer the question, did the winner of the Magic the Gathering World Championship cheat their way to victory? So this all happened in the 31st MTG World Championship in December, where spoilers, Hall of Famer Seth Mansfield won his second World Championship title. But unfortunately, his win was marred by two incidents during his quarterfinal match against Ken Yukihiro. I'm going to show both clips first, then I'll discuss them afterwards. The first clip takes us midway through the second match in a best of 5 in the quarterfinals.
That's not going to get it done, right? As Ken does have the mana?
Because of that, yeah, well, because of the mana, and then it won't work on, he's going to name Spider here, which also does protect Superior Spider-Man.
Right.
It does not for Arden. Human would cover both.
Sorry, I'm not going to do that. You said Spider on this?
You can still cast it though, right?
Okay.
I mean, he can't take that.
You can't.
Wow.
You can still cast a counterspell on.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty obvious what happened there for those familiar with cards in Standard right now. Ken plays Cavern of Souls and names Spiders. The land lets Ken cast uncounterable creatures of the chosen type. He then goes to cast Brood Spinner, a spider, using the Cavern of Souls mana, and then Seth goes to cast the counterspell Idle Quencher, which of course would do nothing in this situation. Seth quickly realizes this and then performs something that we in the industry call a takesies backsies, most commonly performed at your casual Commander games. Much to the shock of the commentators, the judge appears to allow this. The game continues, and Seth will eventually win this game. The next clip happens in the following game in Game 3 of the best of 5. We're in the late stages of the game, and Seth is down to 4 cards in his library. He has just cast Monument to Endurance, an artifact that can draw cards, create treasures, and most importantly, make opponents lose 3 life. He also has some artist talents in play to help trigger the monument. Let's play the clip.
Okay.
What is Ken at, 13?
He's at 13 life. That's 5 triggers. That's 5 cards. You have to rummage 5 times.
What is going on here?
He does have Storm Chaser's talent. Okay, you get to reset the monument here, right, by Boomerang Basics.
And he needs to do 3 life like every chance he can get, right?
So he rummages off of this, drains your opponent for 3, pick it up, then you can replay it. Don't rummage off the artist talent, of course.
Right.
And then cast another spell. But he doesn't have enough cards left in his deck unless he finds the second Monument to Endurance.
Is this for real right now?
But remember, the bottom...
Can I take this back or no?
I don't...
I already cast it.
Well, you can't take this back. Come on now.
It's fine.
he cast it.
Okay. Okay.
What?
You have how many cards in hand? 1.
Wait. So he didn't cast the Boomerang Basics now?
I guess he
Oh,
didn't.
wow.
That is... All right. So
of the two, this is clearly the most egregious clip. Seth taps mana for Boomerang Basics, clearly indicates that the Monument to Endurance is the target, and then proceeds to go into the tank for around 30 seconds, before eventually saying,
Can I take this back?
"Can I take this back?" Mentioning to the judge that he already cast the spell. The judge does say something, it's very hard to make out over the commentators, but allows Seth to perform a takesies backsies. Again, much to the shock of the commentators and Twitch chat. Okay, so did Seth break any rules here? In short, absolutely not. Firstly, reversing decisions is allowed by the Magic Tournament rules. If we take a look at section 4.8, it tells us, sometimes a player will realize that they have made a wrong decision after making a play. If that player has not gained any information since taking the action and they wish to make a different decision, a judge may allow that player to change their mind. It goes on to say, judges must carefully consider whether the player has gained information since making the play that might have affected the decision. In particular, players may not try to use opponents' reactions, or lack thereof, to see if they should modify actions they committed to. Now, a lot of people are pointing to this line here, stating that it looks like Seth waited until Ken said, "Okay," before quickly requesting a takeback, indicating that this is a reaction that Seth was looking for. It's worth pointing out that at this level of play, the tournament is using open deck lists. Seth is aware of what Ken is running in his Sultai Reanimator deck. It is a primarily sorcery speed deck, and the two instants that Ken could have are either not playable or not applicable to this situation. You could argue that Ken could have had a Bitter Triumph, but even then, this isn't really the point at which you would cast the spell, and even then, it is not relevant to the situation at hand. Boomerang Basics is a sorcery targeting an artifact. Now, the MTR does happen to give 3 examples of takebacks that would be allowed: playing a land and then quickly changing that decision, declaring no blocks against an attacker and then immediately changing their mind, and passing the turn and then suddenly wanting to not pass the turn and take a game action. All 3 of these examples are painted as quick changes of mind, and not, "I'll make an action, then wait 30 seconds before changing my mind." I think the first clip is a pretty reasonable example of a takeback in line with what is laid out in the MTR. Having said that, nowhere in section 4.8 does it mention that a player only has a certain number of seconds to think about their decision before they can reverse it. After all, this isn't touch chess. So having said all that, again, did Seth break any rules? Absolutely not. Was this sloppy play for someone playing at World Championships? Maybe. As I've said in previous videos, playing at these tournaments for multiple days is mentally draining and taxing, not to mention the pressure of the prize money on the line. I think the most important thing to point out and stress is that Seth did exactly the right thing here, and I think this is the biggest lesson everybody should take away from the video. Seth called a judge. He turned and asked the judge, "Can I take this back?" and explained the situation. It was very clear and out in the open. At this point, the judge could have easily said no and told him to play on, but obviously that's not what happened. Now, did the judge make the right call here? I would say so. It's definitely riding a thin line on what is written in the tournament rules versus what is probably intended. The rules are allowing for quick fixes of decisions, not letting players tank on a decision presented on a board. As I've mentioned in another video of mine, if you ever find yourself presented with a decision from a judge that you think is incorrect, you can always appeal to the head judge. Just remember though, that the head judge's decision is final. It's tough to say whether this rules incident is going to force a change of section 4.8. At the end of the day, it feels like the rule is there to protect those playing at every level but professional. After all, the rules enforcement level for Worlds is set to professional, which means these tournaments hold players to a higher standard of behaviour and technically correct play than competitive tournaments. Perhaps Wizards will make a change in the near future. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you learned something, be sure to like the video and subscribe, because if you don't, I'm going to take these backsies this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.